doing some favor orders at the moment, as usual. So I'm always in my car. Anyway, I may have to like pause and take breaks. Like this may be a very annoying blog because of that. But I kind of wanted to talk about Jazmine Sullivan's new album, which honest, the only reason I checked it out is because like I watch different YouTube bloggers and stuff, and one in particular that I like to watch is the Impressive channel. And Impressive, like she's known for doing like a lot of documentaries, and she does like personal reviews and opinions on like celeb news, celeb gossip, and just people's albums and how they're doing, how they're progressing and stuff in their careers and all that jazz. And she just had a video talking about Jazmine Sullivan, so I was like, oh, Jazmine Sullivan has a nice voice. I always kind of get her confused with Melanie Fiona, or maybe they were like trying to come up like around the same time, I don't know. But I was like, oh well, let's see what Jazmine's talking about, because I like really soulful voices. So I go to Jazmine Sullivan's YouTube page, and I found the album, and I just started playing from like the very first. Jesus Christ! There's a friggin' bee. If you are not God's creation, actually no, I would still kill you. I'm sorry. So like I started listening for like the first like song. I think I got through probably 4 or 5 tracks on Jazmine Sullivan's new album. And I wanna be completely honest with you. It's complete trash. And this is not even getting into the logic of like what her message is actually about. Her album is called Hotels. It's spelled Heaux, which I think is supposed to like, listening to the songs, I think it's like supposed to be about her experiences in her younger years with just kind of like being a harlot, and I guess, for people in the world, we're into completely different lanes, dimensions, realms, and kingdoms. So believers, we don't really have a mindset we don't even see something like that as normal. So anytime I listen to like a secular song, I have to remind myself like, oh, they don't have the mind of Christ. They have the mind of the flesh. This is normal to them. So I had to kind of like have that mindset listening to her. Jesus. I'm back. Let me switch this up. So anyway, so like I was saying, I got through like maybe 4 or 5 tracks of Jazmine's, to be honest. I think I ended up even like skipping over. And I've never really listened to Jazmine Sullivan's music in the past. I know that there's that really popular song Lions and Tigers and Bears and stuff, but I just knew Jazmine to be an artist that had a really soulful voice, and I always kind of compared her to Melanie Fiona for some reason. But so I don't know, I guess I was like, oh, let me see what Jazmine's new album is about. She's been gone for some time. Maybe it's something really soulful and beautiful and whatever, just vibes. So I listened to it. The album is trash, and this is not even getting into the message concept of her entire album yet. This is just her voice. And I was, one thing I really hate about the world and just society, just any group of people that are following a certain artist musically, they overhype people, or they make certain commentary about people's projects that's just simply not. And I think when I was, if it was Impressive's video, people in the comments were talking about Jazmine's album like it was really nice, and oh man, her and Ari Lennox, which I've never even really listened to Ari Lennox's music, but apparently it's supposed to be some type of black soulful type of thing too. Man, they were really good together. This album is fire, blah, blah, blah. And to be quite honest, it's kind of already sad that through the first half of the album, she's not even really using vocal abilities at all. What her album sounds like, this is exactly what Mary J. Blige recently did with her recent album. Because of the way music is kind of like, the direction is kind of turned, like with this generation, they want you to have like a certain kind of hip sound. There's this annoying, I really don't even know what to call it, to be honest with you, but that mumble rap slash just poppy, just know what it is. Does it even have a name? I don't know. But I mean, music is not really music anymore. I feel like if you have a certain voice for a certain type of frequency and a certain type of vibe, you need to stick with that. If you have a soulful voice, make soul music. That's just how I feel. Like, why are you? It looks awkward. It's very off-putting for Jazmine Sullivan. That's like Jennifer Hudson doing trap music. That's literally what Jazmine Sullivan's album sounds like. I was like, what is she doing? It was complete trash. So that's kind of the direction she decided to take. So I noticed a lot of people that are actually genuinely talented that have made, beautiful music in the past, like Mary J. Blige. I'm a 90s baby, so obviously I know Mary. The fact that Mary had to do that, and I feel like they feel like they won't get any real notoriety, or their album's not really going to pick up unless they sound like the music that people already like in this generation, which that's not true. And I want to be the person to say this, secular or not. I have to say this just in respect to the same way the Father has respect to different covenants, and he's righteous. I have to say, as far as that arena of music, that's not true. You still have a lot of people that genuinely enjoy soul music. You still have a lot of people that genuinely enjoy old-fashioned, old-school love music about romance and falling in love with somebody, that kind of thing. So you can't just assume that just because this is what's popular in this age and in this just particular whatever is going on, that you have to sound like everybody else just in order for your music to pop off. I'm sorry, I'm kind of distracted by this GPS lady. And that's, I don't know what Jazmine's intentions were with that. I don't know if this could have just been her as an artist, just like, well, I want to try something new, I want to have fun, kind of like what Beyonce's been doing. Beyonce's another perfect example, and this is not to shade her, but same thing with Beyonce. I don't know how much control she had in the past over the certain tracks that she sung about, but we formerly know her from Destiny's Child and R&B music, and then all of a sudden she kind of transitioned into this. It's really trash, just trash. Well, I don't know if it's supposed to be like trap music or big weird beast looking. I don't even know what to call it. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But so you have a lot of people doing that, and it's not so much that. Shut up. It's not so much that your fans are only used to a particular sound from you and they want you to stay in that lane. It's just, and I feel like you have to really be a true musician at heart to understand what I'm saying. Like The Weeknd, he's a perfect example. Like I said, if you have a certain kind of voice and a certain kind of vibe that fits a certain genre of music, then you just need to stay in your lane. Just because you can venture out into doing other types of music doesn't mean that you should. It's not always going to work out for you. It's not always going to look, it doesn't sound good. So Beyonce's music is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Beyonce is best as an R&B singer. She has vocals. She can hit really well notes. She makes beautiful love, R&B, personal, vulnerable music, But when she kind of started doing like this weird, whatever her music is now, I don't even know what to call, like even everything. I'm talking about the recent African stuff she's been doing. Like, to be honest, and this is not to disrespect her in any way, but I genuinely wonder, seriously, I'm like, is there some brainwashing or some witchcraft going on with the people who are listening to this music? Because this music is absolute trash. And it's not an insult to the artist, because I know that you can do better. So that's why I'm just kind of wondering, like, why is she producing this garbage? It literally is trash. It's not about the intention of the message that you're trying to send. Just musically, the sound, the way everything is put together, it's the most pointless noise I've ever heard in my life. And I'm genuinely like questioning why. Why are you doing this? So, and that's been like her past few albums. I felt like Lemonade didn't even really make sense. There's really not a lot of good songs for Lemonade, and everybody was praising this album, and I'm like, the concept may be praiseworthy, it's understandable, But musically and sound wise, the production is garbage. So I feel like, are we in a generation to where you can just pretty much just like make noise and people are just gonna love it just because it's you? And like I said, it's not an insult to the artist regardless of who it is. It's just a fact. It's a fact. Like, I mean, we know that you're capable of producing better than this. You're actually capable of producing quality music for people to enjoy, and that's not what this is. So it's just confusing. So anyway, so The Weeknd, you see The Weeknd, how he's trying to. Now I do want to say The Weeknd, I would not listen to his music because he has a succubus type of vibe to me. He's definitely a little womanizer, honey. I had to stop listening like a few years back. Like he gonna get me in trouble. But you see how his lane was like that very galactic, like slow, chill, just kind of like he's good for that. That's The Weeknd. But when he started crossing over into this techno, pop, weird, whatever he's doing, I'm just like, what? Why are y'all doing this? Like, are they making y'all do this? Like, this is not your lane. Just stay in your lane. You see how I am right now, waiting for the light to turn? I'm staying in my lane. So I don't know. I don't listen to The Weeknd's music, but I hear it when I'm like in stores and stuff, and I know his voice. I'm like, oh, so he's doing like pop stuff now, which is, he can play with it. It's not something I would take serious. Like, I wouldn't make that like my permanent like lane for music, like for my fans or anything. But it's fun, that he can venture out and do different stuff. Everybody can't do that, but everybody's trying to do that. So anyway, Jazmine, listen. Sound wise, vocal wise, Jazmine has the voice. She has it. We've seen that in her past albums and music, which is why this album is very confusing, because it is complete and absolute utter garbage. In my Simon Cowell voice, like, I'm serious. Like, it's a no. It's a no for me. It's terrible. I was confused at why everybody was praising her songs, because the few that I did get to listen to, I didn't even listen to the whole album. I couldn't get through it. I was getting triggered throughout listening to the song. I really was, because of the message, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. But just her voice, I didn't hear Jazmine like make any soulful, meaningful songs where she was really showing her vocals. It just sounded like she was trying to sound like everybody else who's out right now, just so her music can kind of be popping. And I think even the message, which I'm kind of fast forwarding a little bit, I think even the message and concepts of what she was talking about in her songs was meant to fit this generation and what they're focused on and what they think is cool right now too. So, I just want to be honest. Like, I hate when artists do that. Don't feel the need to kind of blend in or please people. Like, I'm sorry, I had to deliver this order for all of this, and I have a bad knee too. I think my left knee is like out of joint. I may as well just be a freaking waitress or a server. Like, I'm tired of putting miles on this car. I'm gonna just look into that. But yeah, I think what I was saying before like the connection kind of went out was I can't. This is just my opinion, obviously. I can't speak for every artist, and I do respect artists in the sense of people that are actually gifted with musical abilities from the Father. You are truly an artist. You are genuinely passionate about music and whatever your craft is. So I can't speak for why they choose to do certain types of music and what they choose to kind of distribute to the public and stuff like that. But I do want to say, if it is them just kind of feeling like pressured in the sense of like they're not really popular, like I don't really should be willing to. Why is he making all this noise? This is the most awkward vlog. Loud and crap. And he on two phones. Oh no, he got one phone. He got to play the food in his hand. Anyway, I really don't feel like they should feel obligated to kind of compromise their gifts, because I was very disappointed. And I'm not even a fan of Jazmine Sullivan. I don't really listen to her music. I probably listen to 2 songs by Jazmine, enough to know that she has a beautiful, soulful voice. So like I said, Her album that she just released is very similar to if Jennifer Hudson, which we know how Jennifer Hudson can blow doing trap music. Just because you can, and if any artist ever watches this video, please listen to me. Just because you can do something, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a good look for you. It doesn't mean that it's going to sound good on you. It's no different than somebody wearing a wig or getting a certain hair color or a certain haircut. It may look pretty. Even like okay, let's speak for me. Eyeglass frames, okay? Listen. There's a picture of this girl. She has a more round shaped head though. My face shape is more of an oval actually. Um Minus the chunky baby cheeks and stuff. When my face is who is that? Who is that, Brittany? Who is Tunda Faya? But anyway, I have a picture of this girl who I used to know, and she has like this round face. She has a normal round face, and she wears like these thick frame glasses, and I'm like, man, I want to get me some big frames like that. I like these right here, but I wanted something that I feel like kind of fits my personality a bit more because I have like a little nerd characteristic to me. So I like the idea of big circular frames. Um but I mean, I was looking at her face and I'm like, man, those glasses look really good on her face, but they look good. They're good frames, but they may not look good on me because me and her don't have the same face shape, you know? So obviously, if I were to find glasses that look like that, it probably wouldn't look as good on me. So like I said, please take that to heart. Not that artists don't already know this, but just because you can play around, just because you can venture out and do different types of sounds, doesn't mean that you should. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And it absolutely does not guarantee that your fans are going to like it. So, Brittany, is that one of Jazmine's songs? Okay, maybe Brittany's somebody I can talk to on this live. Because, like, I'm not doing a spiritual vlog. I'm just simply talking about music and just reviewing the album. That's it. Okay, well, I haven't listened to that yet, Brittany. I'm going to have to check that out. So, but yeah, I listened to like 4 or 5 tracks maybe, because I listened to that many because I genuinely wanted to give it a chance. I was like, okay, well, maybe after she gets through this like little intro weird prelude and she gets into the real heavy songs, like maybe there's some meaningful depth to it. And I honestly wasn't even intentioning to enjoy it on like a really personal level, just sound wise, just to really see what Impressive was talking about, just to check out the album. And the songs I did listen to, like the first half of the album, they all sound like that. She's not even singing, she's talking. And the song, like I said, the album is called Hotels. So it's supposed to be tales or stories that she put into song form about when she just used to be thotting and bopping when she was younger, but she made it like really hip and kind of cool to like fit this generation's like mental capacity, which is just really sad. The generation's mental capacity. This was really sad. And so there was like one song in the beginning where she was talking about like, oh man, what the hell did I get myself into? Basically the concept is like she drank too much liquor and she just always ended up in like some random dude's bed. And I'm just like, this is where I say I have to take a few steps back and remind myself they're carnal, you're not. So for me, I'm already on a higher dimension in Christ. So when I listen to this stuff, I have to remind myself that this is their normal. People are actually living like this. This is a normal lifestyle to people who are in the world. They get drunk, they go to clubs, or they go to parties, or they just get cool with people that they meet, and they go home and sleep with them. My mindset as Brandy, I literally just ranted about this on Facebook, and I posted the same exact post in my community post on YouTube. I literally went in on even the spiritual transference of sexual intimacy itself. I didn't plan on saying all of that, but it just really irritated me because you see a lot of female rappers today and a lot of female artists like, and I was saying in the post, actually I didn't post it on YouTube, I just posted it on Facebook, but I was saying how like most of them just talk about vanity, materialism. They're encouraging you to do or bragging about how they use men for money to get things that they want, or to get them, if they want to have sex with them, or if they want to even just date them, even if the guy's like genuinely potentially interested in you as like a wife, well, you got to get me this Gucci, you got to get me this Birkin bag. It's all about materialism, vanity, how much money you have. It's almost like women want to have a dick. I really do. That's exactly how I feel when I listen to female rap. I feel like they want to be like men, but you just look really stupid. Anybody that's removing themselves from like their proper placement or order because you're a woman, and I don't care about this whole, I feel like there's so many branches of the feministic or feminist agenda. I'm not a feminist. I don't even really understand the true concept of feminism in the first place. I think it's for like women's rights and stuff, and I'm like, okay, as long as that fits in the context of scripture, that's cool. But when you have women who are literally trying to take on like these masculine attributes, and they're trying to be really hard and trying to be aggressive, and all of a sudden every woman wants to be a female rapper, and I'm like, okay, this is where the feminism comes in, because initially rap was not really for women. You had a few women that were rapping, okay, so I see rap as like, I see it as a style of music. I do see it as a gift. I do see it as a skill. Not everybody can rap. I actually respect rap. I like decent freestyles. People actually have bars. They know how to connect and piece certain things together. So like I said, I can enjoy music from an abstract perspective, even though I don't really get personally invested with it. Everybody's not a rapper. So when I see a lot of females that want to become rappers and they always push, like, there's always like this feministic kind of verse or, whole message behind the song or the album, I respectfully want to tell you, you look really stupid. I don't know why people have such an issue with just being humble, meek. I don't want to say docile in a weak manner, but just being a soft, weaker in the sense of, you're not a man. You were not designed to be a man. You're never going to be a man. So you should not be trying to be like a man. They have that stuff naturally. They have those strengths and that aggression naturally. Now, there is an aggression in a female sense that we can have towards different things, righteously so. But the way that these women are doing it, and the way that they talk about using men, I'm like, is that y'all's way of like trying to get back at the man? Because you feel like all they do is use us. All they do is hoe us, So, why can't we do it? That's double standard. You can't do it because your very nature was designed to be the complete opposite of that. That's why it looks really stupid on you. Once again, glasses. Just because a man is doing something, sweetheart, does not mean it's not going to look worse when you do it. It's not justifying men being whores. It's not justifying men sleeping around and having this. I'm just saying, like, they already have that Tusk-like nature. Even though it's not right for them to be having multiple girlfriends or wives or this, and that. As far as the pride and the arrogance and the attitude, that alpha male persona, that's already a man's design. You're trying to take that on and adapt to that, which you don't naturally have. That's why you look like a whore trying to do it. That's why you look stupid. Nobody's saying that it's double standards or that, they can do it. Nobody should be doing it. But you look worse because you're actually built to be a mother. You're built to be a wife. You're built to be an example for a future generation of other women. So are you telling me that you want to emulate or duplicate an aggressive nature like a man to build up and rise up and kind of structure a future generation of women to be like men? Is this the seeds that we're sowing? Just vengeance? We're just trying to get back at the man. Oh, since they don't care about us, since they cheat on us and abuse us, let's just use them for everything that they got. So what does that say about your character, though? We're not even, so you've let a man's flaws consume you so much to the point where you yourself have become something disgusting and toxic. You're not even something worthy or valuable to even desire anymore. You spent so much time focusing on what the man has done to you, what the man has done wrong, how niggas are. Well, now I'm going to be like this. So now I'm going to use you. Now I'm going to use your money. I'm going to just have sex with you, and I'm going to just get my nut. And that you look, I hate hearing women talk like that. I'm like, are you listening to yourself? You sound stupid. I think they just cast off the desire to want to be a wife, period, because in their minds, wife just means submission to assholes. And that's not what being a wife is. Being a wife is being so influential and being so inspiring with the beautiful nature that you have as a woman, and perfecting those skills and ability that the Most High put in you to transform that man, to inspire him to become better. So you're weak. You're nothing but a weak, toxic, parasitical female. With the route that you're trying to do things, the way that you call yourself trying to correct something, you're trying to get back at a man. This is why we're their helpers, okay? We're a help meet for them. We're not saying you're perfect, but I'm here to kind of help you and to perfect you. I'm not going to make myself a dog, or, transform myself into a dog version, a lesser grade of myself, a subhuman, to take vengeance out on you. How is that supposed to help you? Is this supposed to make them respect y'all? I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So anyway, I went on a tangent. So I just hate any feministic concepts. It's in like TV series. It's in the chilling adventures of freaking Sabrina. I'm just like, can we please stop with this? My God, like, there's other ways to correct a man's thinking. If somebody is a misogynist, it's their programming that needs to be changed, not you and your whole freaking persona. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. So anyway, so when I was listening to the song, I'm just like, okay, Brandy, hold on. Because I actually did comment on one of her songs, and I came for her throat. I did. I dragged her. But I listened to it, and I was just thinking, why are you so comfortable giving a stranger access to your spirit and your soul and your body, which all threefold are vulnerable to different forms of bacteria and disease, including spiritual? Why do you see this as normal? To put yourself in that kind of predicament in the first place, to kind of joke about it, make light about it, or make a song about it, to like, oh yeah, I used to be a hot mess back then. Oh man, I used to just get so drunk. I used to get so lit. I just used to end up sleeping with this dude and wake up like, oh man, what did I do? Yeah, because that's perfectly normal. Are you all right in the head? Are you? I just want people, like, when you talk, and I like to talk a lot for this very reason. I want you to actually listen to yourself. That's very true that at a young age, we can really be a hot mess as women. We're young, we're immature, we're still growing, we're still developing. We have a lot of life experiences to kind of learn. You could very well be one of the many dumb idiots that actually does stuff like that. But seriously, people, this is why you need to be educated on spirituality and what you're actually doing when you engage in sexual intercourse. And what I was saying in my post on Facebook, when I ranted, because of a particular, as a matter of fact, I'm just go ahead and say it. It was Saweetie and Doja Cat's recent rap little video they made, That's My Best Friend. It triggered me in a negative way. And I ranted. And I made a whole post about it. But anyway, I was just saying how there's a reason why you feel drained after, like, orgasm, or like, ejaculation when you're fornicating with somebody. Because when you're not doing that from a place of love, when it's not deriving from the Holy Spirit, when it's not deriving from the love that you have for this person, it's not being recycled. That energy is not being recycled back into you. You're giving it away to people. So you're literally giving pieces of your soul, your life force, your essence to people that literally have not earned it. They have not committed to you in any form of covenant. They're not your husband. They're not your wife. And you're just sacrificing yourself and giving your energy. You have to recoup. That's why you sleep after sex. Seriously. At least in a marriage covenant with somebody that you actually love and care about, that energy and that love it's an expression of love. It's a spiritual manifestation, another dimension that you can feel when you're actually engaging in the act. It's being recycled back into you. That's not happening when you're just screwing somebody. So anyway, I got triggered. I listened to the song and I'm just like, have I ever done this? I did this out of, actually, probably the last time I had sex, which was like 7 or 8 years ago. I did it I think out of boredom. I was backsliding at that time, and I just wanted the experience. It wasn't necessarily peer pressure. It was just, so I was never a thoughtin' and bopping type person. But yeah, as far as like sleeping with somebody that I was not in a relationship with, it just felt stupid to me. I mean, and I just kind of question, like, I would like to genuinely interview people on why they fornicate. Everybody has a different reason. Some people just want love. They just want to feel love. So that's like the closest you can get to it. Some people genuinely just do it for pleasure, and I'm just like, there's other ways to get pleasure. Like, this is not territory or ground that you want to play with. Sex is just definitely like, Brittany, I didn't even see your comments. That's not territory or grounds I would want to play with for pleasure. When I think of like, okay, yeah, sexual pleasure, it's nice, but this is why I really respect Hebrew Nations building, that video they did on covenants and with sexual covenants, like with the purpose in the man's actual penis and testicles, representing the two witnesses. Like that was so deep how that brother went into that. Like, Father has literally designed sex for covenant. Literally, to use it outside of its context is disorder. And the fact that this is normal to people is disturbing, and it's kind of scary that you are willing to open up your body. Do you know, let's talk about this. Do you know how easy it is for us to get yeast infections? As women, guys, you probably don't know this, but you can get a yeast infection from literally anything. Like wearing tight clothes. Well, that's a reason the Most High tells you or encourages us to wear more so, modest clothing like dresses and skirts and things like that. Because when you wear tight clothing to where your vagina can't breathe, you can get a yeast infection, because yeast, or, that bacteria likes to grow in that type of environment. You can get it from different chemicals and different soaps or washes that you use. You can get it from laundry detergent. You definitely get it from like the diet that you're eating, what kind of food you're putting in your body. And it's just like, yo, she's very sensitive. She's very vulnerable down there. And it just blows my mind. Like, even as a woman, me and her journey together for the 28 years that we have had each other, and maybe the 1 year where she was being formed in the womb, I've just learned so much. And I just think to myself, people are out here on the loose like a wild pack of animals, just having sex with any and everybody. How do you treat her like that? I mean, I intentionally, and this is not even due to biblical reasons, like just my body and the way my body works and what I've learned about my body as a woman, I intentionally want to sleep with one person. Clean. I've learned so much. I watch a lot of important, health type of videos and material on YouTube as well. So even with my husband, who it will be, even with that situation, I notice it's very important for us to be clean. Y'all know how, let's talk about this. Why aren't y'all commenting? It's 8 people on here. Let's talk about this, because how many songs do they have? How many sex songs they have about like, oh yeah, let's just hurry up and do it in the restroom. Let's just be out in the store. Let's just let's just basically get a quickie anywhere. And it's like, no, let's go home in our proper abode where it can be comfortable and set a certain frequency and atmosphere for that type of thing. Let's take showers first, because you have to be clean before you insert yourself into me. I just listen to music and I'm like, are y'all actually, I think they are doing it. They are. Are y'all actually doing this? Or is this just like a really hype thing? Like, are you just kind of singing and rapping and talking about this? Because to be honest, I listen to some songs, and even songs I really used to enjoy when I was in the world, like Chris Brown, all his little sexual songs. Like, I used to like it and stuff, but in my mind, I'd be like, I would never do that. Meaning, I would never just like, me and you, it's never going to be a situation where we're just chilling and we just end up having sex. That's disgusting to me. No, we're going to bathe. Like, you know how they say cleanliness is next to godliness? Well, yeah, the marriage bed is undefiled as long as you keep it undefiled. So it's just common sense stuff. Like, Father literally has Torah laws on health and hygiene for a reason, sweetheart. That's disgusting. And it's not to throw like, oh, why are you saying that? Is something wrong with your cootie cat? Like, it's not that. It's not that somebody has a disease or anything like that. It's just common sense. It's hygiene. A woman is constantly discharging throughout the day. It makes sense for us to shower or bathe even twice a day, if you want to do that. Depends on your lifestyle, what you're able to do. It's just really disgusting. I feel like sex is something so special and just something so sacred. I want to treat it that way. So when you want to get into this moment with each other, and y'all want to have that, spiritual experience of it, self-expression and expressing your love for each other, do it the right way. Like, set it up the right way. Like, go take a shower together. Just be clean. Like, I'm sorry. It's just the thought of just having dirty sex. It's just so gross, especially a man. My grandpa told me, years ago. Let's be clear. My grandpa told me to even, pay attention to what a man's penis looks like, first of all. To know, because you always want to talk about what's wrong with us. What's wrong with who, okay? The difference between, the circumcised and the uncircumcised and what it looks like. He told me to pay attention to what it smells like, all that stuff, okay? So I just want y'all to really think about this. All these people, they're like drinking and y'all just hooking up with random people. Oh, Jesus. Men can have dirty penises too. And this is not to like throw STDs or diseases on people. It's nothing like that. It's just simple hygiene, okay? If you truly love this man, you truly love this woman, you should want to protect their body and their temple at all costs. Husband or wife or not. Hopefully you are a husband and a wife doing it, but people are not. So, I just, first of all, if you my man, I'm gonna just be completely honest with you. Excuse me, I keep have acid reflux. Even as my man personally, the way I picture this in my mind, there will be a shower. I will set a shower up for you. I will make you feel like a king because you will be clean and you will be holy and set apart before you enter into my body, okay? This body is a temple. Your body does not stop being a temple just because you're about to have sex. For those of you who want to suck dicks and lick vaginas, all the other places where all this nasty stuff is growing, your body never stopped being a temple just because you're using it for different, purposes, okay? It's designed to do a lot of different things. Praise the Most High, okay? So your body does not stop being a temple just because you're about to have sex. You need to treat it as such. It's still a temple. It's still holy. It's still set apart. Please go take a bath. He will be clean. He will be smelling good. I will have him baby powder fresh. And probably all these, woodsy essential oil scents, cleansed, of course, not demonic. But I mean, it's just gross. And then, after you finish, take a shower after. Because I just personally see something wrong with you being comfortable that there is a huge, there is a lot of substance that is currently residing in your vaginal canal after everything has, after everything has been done. They always encourage you to take a bath or to, shower afterwards. Now, this is not what they show us in movies. Like I said, I'm not here to throw out who has a secret agenda and who doesn't. I don't know. They're already trying to kill us off of population control. Maybe they're encouraging you to have dirty, wild sex in weird places at random, spontaneous times and to just lay in bed for hours after because they just want you to get sick and die. I don't know. Normally, to be completely honest, that does not make sense. Laying down for a little bit, cuddling, that's fine. But please bathe afterwards, please. It's a sacred, beautiful, special act, and you should treat it as such. What you see people talk and sing and rap about in music, that's more like an animalistic abuse of pleasure. Honestly, that's all fornication is. It's an abuse of your body. You're abusing yourself. This is why the Bible says when you fornicate, you sin against your own body. So it's literally kind of like self-abuse. You're abusing the other person. You're literally taking advantage and only using this person to receive physical pleasure. It's very animalistic. You literally are no different than two animals humping on the side of the street in front of everybody. There's nothing special about it. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to... Let me read these comments. Brittany said, Lord have mercy. I don't even know. Hotels. Yeah. Look how easily it is promoted to be promiscuous because these evildoers want to condition the masses to be in sin, New World Order, demonic. Yeah, and Kiara said that's why they say pee after sex. Not sure how effective that is, but a shower is still needed. Anyway, let me get back on topic because somebody gonna watch this because it said Jazmine Sullivan review and they're gonna be like, she went in a whole bunch of... That's just me, I'm sorry. So, that was Jazmine's song though. And like I said, this is not to disrespect like what her intentions were. Like I said, if you're an artist, I could make an album about my past life and certain things. And I would be very clear though in an interview to say like, hey, this is just kind of me sharing like a part of my diary with y'all. This is not to be taken like as like in joyful or pleasurable, like, hey, go do this. Like, no, I just kind of wanted to share a part of myself with y'all, part of my life, something like that. So I was like, okay. And I understand how you would have to make it presentable to the fans so it can actually pop off and actually become something and you can actually get a coin from it. That makes sense. That you have to kind of make it sound cool, even though it's really not cool to do that. Not saying that she was saying it was. It's just I was listening to it and I was like, okay. Okay. Next song. I don't even remember the song names. I was not paying attention to song titles. I was genuinely just kind of like listening to each one in my car as they, the next track would come up. And the one with Ari Lennox. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. Um, like I said, Jazmine didn't give us any of her vocals. Jazmine has beautiful vocals. And like I said, it's very possible she just wanted to have fun with this album. Maybe this was not meant to be a serious album where she's really showing her vocal ability. That's what I was expecting, which is why I feel like it was trash. Because she's just talking. She's trying to sound like hip hop. She's trying to sound like this generation's like vibe of like trap music, but it was like with a soulful like melody, or kind of, sound to it. And it just wasn't well put together. It sounded very weird. Like it wasn't her. And I'm just like, this is really corny. I just, if I had fans, I would want them to be honest with me. I don't care for this whole bandwagon thing. Just because somebody you like made a new album and they haven't made it in years, or you really like this artist, like, oh, everything they do is good. Like Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj's music is trash. And people like worship this girl, and I'm just like, she's a bubblegum rapper. She does not even touch Cupcake, for example, who she has her own line of, demonic stuff she talks about. But as far as like bars and actual like, lyricism, Nicki is, she pales in comparison to a lot of rappers. So like when I appreciate music for actually being true, authentic music. So I feel like when you make something, people should be very honest in their constructive criticism. And Jazmine's album is honestly trash. It is. Is she trash? Maybe not. I don't know her personally. I don't know. And that's another thing I wanted to say. Some people's songs, I learned the hard way. Stop thinking that people. I learned the hard way to not think people that you admire, and this goes for anybody, to be these very honorable type of individuals, because they may not be that. There's a lot of celebrities and a lot of artists that you have really loved their work, you love their music, and you love them because of that, but you don't really know them. So when they finally come out with these nasty albums and their heart is really being exposed to this stuff, like, there's gospel artists. People will tell you real quick, like Kiara Sheard. Kiara Sheard is known for making all these gospel songs, but a few years back, she embarrassed the whole body of Christ, which I don't even think she's a true sister in the first place. But she was on like, what was this? Some Christian huge movement or event that was going on. She got on stage and was acting real ghetto and just kind of carnal, and was like, she like men with, with dark lips, like they be smoking a little weed. I'm just like, it was just very off-putting. So you think you know the people or the artists themselves because you know their music and you become very intimately acquainted with their music and what they produce to you. Keep in mind, that was funny. Keep in mind that a lot of tracks that artists actually work on, and actually like a lot of projects that they do, is not even written by themselves. It's written by other people, and it's given to this artist because they have the face, they have the voice, and they can make it worth something, but that may not be their true heart. So when they finally make their own stuff, and they're like, yeah, I kill niggas. Yeah, I just want him to spit on it. Yeah, I just want to sit on it and spin on it. And I just want to, it's like, whoa, like, what is she talking about? And actually Jazmine's lyrics in that particular song. She's talking about sitting on it, spinning on it, and she wants him to spit on it and everything else on it that she wanted to be done to it. So, and that, you may not be used to hearing an artist talk like that, but that's why I say you think these people are really cookie cutter, innocent, honorable people, and they're probably just really trash people that you really didn't know. So when you come at their music like this, I wouldn't be surprised if Jazmine watches this video and she's laughing, because she may actually be that kind of woman and she doesn't have an issue with it. But it's disgusting nonetheless. So that's my point. So that's why I say, if you're going to enjoy somebody's music, enjoy their music. That speaks nothing about the person themselves. I know there's some prophetic dreams the Father has given me, exposing a few people. So I can tell you firsthand, people are not what they're talking about in their music. You can admire somebody so much for so long and love their music, and when you finally meet them, they're complete assholes. They don't care about you. They're probably really uppity, really bougie, or probably just really dirty, just janky people. And you find out the hard way, they just have a really nice voice. But her heart was always this disgusting. Look what she's talking about. Now, with that being said, of course, these different genres, and vibes in this music, it is catered to a certain audience. You're always going to have an audience for ratchetness. You're always going to have an audience for harlotry. You're always going to have an audience for lesbianism and LGBT. I never know how to say that. Lesbian, gay. Listen, all the letters of the lesbian alphabet. You're always going to have an audience. There's always going to be a group of people who are on that same low vibrational frequency of whatever you're talking about. So you're always going to have a fan. It's sad, but it's the truth. So, when you are actually that sound-minded person listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, what is this? And you go through the comments and they're like, oh, yes, Queen. Yeah, they did that. Go, Ari. Oh, they banging. Oh, they voices is raspy. Because I can't. Sorry. Yeah, their voices are nice. What they're talking about is garbage. So when you see those comments and you question, yes, I'm still on Earth. Yes, I'm still alive. I don't think I've gone to another planet. It's still humans around me. They're just toxic humans. They're just toxic, demonized, defiled humans. So when you see that, keep in mind, same way on YouTube, and I see YouTube commentators like this too. You don't know the people that you're actually engaging with. And I kind of struggle sometimes because I'm like, do I really want to make my channel like a big thing to where I think I have the skill, I have the gift for it to make it something like that. But I watch other vloggers and how they blow up and they really engage. Like they're really open with like their followers. And I'm like, 50,000 of these people, they're probably like pedophiles, and like you would never know. Like, like you don't really know these people. You don't really know who's behind comments and stuff. So when you see a lot of praise in the wrong direction, or a lot of praise over projects that's just genuinely trash musically, like I said, there's always going to be people on that low vibration that's resonating with what you're talking about. So what that equates to, and I'm just going to bluntly say it, everybody in that comment section is probably just trash people. You have to be to listen to something like this and praise it when it's not even praiseworthy. It wasn't even like presented in a way with like, oh, this is my past, it's something that I actually been through. Let's say this. Jhené Aiko, for example. Jhené Aiko has a song that I love and I respect it because Jhené is a poet. She's a true musician. She's a true artist, okay? Now, her spiritual beliefs is all, she's kind of on the Asian side, so she's into the whole, I don't know, different stuff. But she has a song called Comfort in Freestyle. And when you listen to it, you can tell it is Jhené telling her story. Is talking about how she kind of fell for this guy and she ended up sleeping with him even though she had a boyfriend, and she ended up getting her heart broken, and turns out the guy didn't really love her. But the way she puts it, like so melodically, it's beautiful because you can tell there's a difference between me talking about this, like I'm bragging about it, like, oh yeah, come do this and that, and I'm telling a story. And people can always relate to a story. There's a lot of people that have probably that same experience, and the way she puts it is very poetic. Jhené even said in an interview that a lot of her songs is from like past experiences. It's not even anything she's going through right now. So I respect Jhené musically for that, for that reason. But that can be respected, but anyway, I don't know, Jazmine. I don't know her. So when I listen to like artist music, I think that's like at the forefront of my mind is, what are they talking about? Like, what message are they sending or promoting or encouraging? What is the concept? A lot, is it like vanity, just materialism, using a nigga, getting his money, or just being fancy? It's always about being, having a beat face and being glossed up, all that stuff. And then I think about, I don't know them personally, so I don't know who wrote this, for one. And it's just, I don't know, it's just, and Doja Cat, she's her own, like, I don't know. I haven't really studied or observed her enough to really kind of try to figure her out. But some people can just simply just be good at what they do, and just, they know how to represent a certain message very well. They may not really live that at all. So at the end of the day, when you're trying to get a check, that's what it just really boils down to. But Jazmine, just to kind of like finalize this video, because it's so freaking long and I have to continue getting my money. I do question what her intentions were. I'm gonna have to, no, actually, I'm not gonna look up and see what they were, because it just triggered me. I just thought it was disgusting regardless. I don't even care what her intentions were. Look for any interviews or any, commentary she had on it. Just listening to it, just, I'll say this. I've never done an album, but I would imagine if I were to do one at any point in my life, I would have to listen to an entire playback of each song. And there has to be a moment, I feel, where every artist, after listening to the whole album, once everything is completed with my team, I have reached a level of comfortability with what I'm about to put out to the masses. So that lets me know that Jazmine heard this. After she sung it, whoever wrote it, she vibed with it, She had a moment where she sat, not on it, but she sat and she listened and she said, you know what? Yes, I approve this. Let's put this out to the masses on a musical level, gift-wise, talent-wise, what your fan base was going to be expecting, the message that you're talking about. Is this even praiseworthy? Is this something just kind of ratchet and just carnal and just, it's very low vibrational? That kind of tells me a lot about you. I just can't see myself producing something that's legitimate trash and approving it for other people to listen to it. The album is trash. Not just because of what she was talking about. She's literally not singing. I didn't listen to the whole. I'm not going to listen to the rest of it. The first few songs I listened to, she was hitting a few notes in like the chorus, like the one with Ari. It was beautiful. I'm like, yeah, their voices sound beautiful. Y'all could have made several songs together that were actually decent and uplifting and praiseworthy and, not disgusting. But so, yeah, their voices sound actually very beautiful together. That's true. I didn't hear too much of that though. She was just talking for the most part. Not really too much singing. And yeah. What can I say? This is already prophesied in scripture. In the last days, they will do this stuff. You can't really get too mad at it. I guess that's what I get for watching Impress's video and just deciding to check it out. And I just had my whole day ruined with that album. I mean, it was really, I would just be more satisfied if like more people like myself came out and were just honest. Like, Jazmine, I like you. Your voice is beautiful. You're definitely gifted, but this sucks. Or what you had to say and the way you said it could have been said differently. It could have been presented entirely different to where it just didn't sound like you're just a horny, hot woman, hot in the pants, talking about it getting wet. Do you want me to get it wet for you? And I mean, another thing I wanted to say, listen, I'm not against being a sexual person. What I mean by that is within the context of purity, within the context of the Holy Spirit, okay? God made us as sexual beings. So, to be completely honest, it's common sense that a lot of the stuff that you hear people talk about in songs that are like sexual natured, we feel a lot of that stuff. We bear witness with it. I just think it's tacky. I don't think everything that you feel is supposed to be put out to the public, though. I feel like some things, like some stuff I listen to, I'm just like, you could have just kept that in the darkness of your heart between you and whatever. Everything is not meant to be released. So it's just kind of like, it's nice to have those thoughts and those feelings and to be this, graphic with stuff with your spouse. But it's like when you put it in a song, even if I wanted to make an album like that for my husband, I just let him listen to it. And maybe my friends for giggles. I wouldn't put something like that out to the world. I feel like there's parts of me that only people in your holy of holies circle should be intimate with and should actually know. Some stuff should have to be explored. So that's why I don't respect a lot of sexual music. There's some love making music I think is absolutely beautiful. The Isley Brothers, most of the stuff from like back in the gap, like 70s, 80s stuff, that was real like love making, beautiful, romantic, love inspired music. Realistically, we will feel these things. You will very much be on that vibration when you're actually in the bedroom getting it on with your husband or your wife. The stuff that's coming out today, it's just encouraging a different realm of things. And I want to respectfully say this because I can honestly say, just because you're talking about sex in a different way does not make me obligated to receive it in the way that you're trying to project it to me, because there's a certain dimension I probably wouldn't even want to experience with my husband. I may not want to be this freaky harlot whore, like spin around on the ceiling fan and then drop down on the penis and then do a backflip and shatter the mirror and take a shard of glass. It's just like, there's dimensions to stuff. Okay, like I said, you have negative vibrations and you have positive ones. So there's some love making music that you can feel. You can feel the difference. It's pure. This is actually beautiful to listen to. This would actually get me and my husband in a mood or in a place of embracing or affection. You know what I'm saying? And then there's sexual music like my body all over your body. It's you can feel it be kind of take like a darker spiritual, it brings you down from a higher dimension to where you felt love and affection and embraced, and now it's kind of like lustful. Now it's kind of like, ooh, yeah, like more animalistic. And then it just becomes kind of raunchy, like WAP. And it's just like, you're doing the same. It's all sex, but there's different dimensions. So there's demonic vibrations, stuff that should not even be practiced or done. You should never get to a point where you see your spouse as an object to get pleasure from. This is an experience that we're sharing together as one. Yeah, this is an experience that we're sharing together as one body, one unit, one person, one body, one soul, one spirit, one mind. So I just like, if I had to grade, honestly, I think I should be like on, I should be on one of these like councils like American Idol or something, so I can judge and like critique. I don't have to sing to do that. Because I know what my spirit feels, and I know what's pure, what's impure, what's just straight trash, what you didn't even really try, There was no real musical ability in this. It was just, this sounds like you were just trying to get back into the industry, and you knew that you had to target a certain audience that listens to crap music like this, so you lowered yourself and your actual value, because Jazmine, you're up here, you have a beautiful, soulful voice, you brought yourself down to meet a fan base that's on a low vibration. Why? This is why I said, stop underestimating that you have people in the world that still enjoy quality music. We miss it. This is why they go back to listening to the 90s stuff and we still listen to the 80s and the 70s stuff, because it's gone. We're losing it. We got to go back to the old stuff because y'all have just lost your freaking rabid minds, and now you're singing about black noise or white noise sometimes. It's just confusion and chaos and disorder, and it just makes no sense. And and you want to say that you did this for me as a fan, I feel insulted. Yes. So you say you gave this to me as a fan, or this is for your fan base, which I'm not a fan. Well, I don't like that word fan. I don't like that. I'm not really loyal to anybody. I appreciate music for what it is, and it just depends on a lot of different factors. I can enjoy different kinds of music, but this is insulting. Do not call me your fan, and do not, present yourself to have a certain loyalty to me as your fan base and give me this garbage and tell me to eat it. I will not eat it. I will return it, and I want my refund. That is what I want. And I want you to get yourself together. And you continue making the content that you were previously, creating. You do not have to be obligated to cater to a low vibrational audience when you still have people that are decent quality people who enjoy decent quality music that you are very well capable of producing. You're choosing not to for whatever reason. That's what I felt, that's what I observed, and that's what I perceived listening to Jazmine Sullivan's recent album release. The first, just not even the whole album, just the first few tracks. Maybe somewhere down the line she had some decent tracks. Well, as far as I'm concerned, the first few tracks was a really bad quick weave, okay? And I don't want to listen to the rest of it. That's all I got to say about that. So, like I said, use your gifts, your skills, your abilities for the Most High, please. Try your best to stay on a very high dimension. We do have some low vibrations where we experience or share our stories through sadness or depression or heartbreak or trauma. There are songs like that. Everything's not high vibrational, but it's not dirty. So, like I said, you do have people that still enjoying just good music, okay? They're still out here. We just kind of have to go undercover. We're in hidden bars. Like, I still like jazz music. I listen to, like, instrumental jazz in my car. No words. It's pleasant. It brings me to a very peaceful place. So, music is definitely an instrument. It's definitely a tool that can be used and kind of switched in many different ways. And one of the main ways it's being used is to destroy. I can assure you of that. It's destroying in so many different layers and so many different just too much. Too much. I will never support anything, no concept, no message, no song, no movie, especially the freaking feministic agenda. I hate it to the core of my being. I can't stand it. I just, Jesus, that's another video. This is already too long. I will never support a message that I feel like is killing the core. I don't want to say Christian values because my beliefs is that Father's commandments is for the whole world. I think his ideologies and his intentions, his desires, his customs, his laws, his statutes, I think the entire Bible as a manual is for the whole world. I think it is the way to live. This is a manual that your creator, if you believe him to be such, because for some odd reason, there's so many people in the world that acknowledge Yahuwah to be their creator, but then they don't live by the Bible. So it's like, okay, so basically you're defying human logic and reason and wisdom that this is the best way for you to live. So you acknowledge that he's your creator, but the way that he gave for you to live, you do completely contrary to what that doesn't make any sense. So no, I can't get with that. I can't get with y'all are always getting away from the core value of the importance or praiseworthiness of being a wife. There's either songs encouraging against it, just discouraging marriage in general, making it seem like it's irrelevant or it's just a choice at this point. It's just a piece of paper. And it's just like, you as a woman and y'all are getting away from like your divine placement. Like y'all are going so far out into outer darkness. It's just become like chaos at this point. Marriage is very important. It's very relevant to your existence because your whole purpose in being created as a woman was to be a helpmeet in a marriage covenant for a man. So how is it that you're producing content that's encouraging fornication? It's encouraging harlotry. It's encouraging you to be everything but this. You know what you do well? What God meant for you to do. It's going to be very hard and very strenuous for you to try to fit yourself into like a puzzle piece or into an area where you were not designed to go there. So every woman as a blueprint, by default, every woman is here to aid and service the man that the father ends up appointing to her or appointing her to. you have gifts, you have skills, you have spiritual gifts, you have a lot of wonderful qualities about you. It's just, you have to learn how to manage that in a way that's going to be effective for you, for your offspring, and for the man that's supposed to be a covering to you. Not to kind of, just flood the earth again. I know you said you weren't going to do it. Just do it again, please. Just do it. I can't. I can't. And then, and then, when you try to bring God's commandments from the Bible back into this conversation to kind of redirect people, like, oh no, we ain't getting religious. Oh no, now you want to bring God in it. Yeah, you took God out of it. This is crap. This is raunchiness. This doesn't even make any sense. This is, oh, I'm going to do what I want with my body. I'm going to enjoy pleasure with my body. I'm going to smoke and I'm going to drink and I'm going to let whoever do whatever to my body. And then I'm going to feel sad about it 10 years later. I'm going to make a whole album about it. Oh, what was I thinking? Maybe if you just listened to the rules in the first place, 10 kids later, we wouldn't be here, So it's like, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to live a do what thou wilt lifestyle. But then when I actually reap the harvest and the consequences of my sins, I want to be sad about it. Just, it's not funny. It's just like the irony and the stupidity of humanity it's just mind boggling to me. Like, and everybody is pushing Yahuwah away. Like, no rules, no authority. Don't tell me how to live my life. Let me die of AIDS. Let me die from eating this pork. I'm gonna do what I want to do because I know what's best for me, God. I just, I mean, I try to be personable. Thank you. Hey, Brittany. Yes, Indy, New York. I know I'm funny, but I try to be personable like this on my channel because I want people to, Father has a sense of humor. He's still a person. So I want people to see him outside of a religious context because even logically it makes sense to obey his commandments. He's just trying to protect you. There's hygiene laws for a reason. There's dietary laws for a reason. There's a lot of commandments on how to, live with your fellow brother and your neighbors and your peers to keep peace. And so, there's laws that will literally protect your mental health. And people are refusing the Bible, and it goes against my lust. I ain't gonna listen to it. But your lust is gonna lead you to destruction. Not to use Christian lingo, not to be figurative. I'm just saying you're actually going to willfully go through the process of doing exactly what he told you not to do. Get hurt, get heartbroken, make a song about it, and say how stupid you were. Yeah, there's a reason why the Bible calls you a fool for doing it. Okay? When you could have just protected your spirit and your heart, guarded it like he already instructed you to, because man is wicked. Protect your womb. You know what really irks me? Women let any random man put his filthy, dirty penis inside of you. Like, do you know we have to make babies here? We have to cook and create the babies here. Do you not care about your future kids? I do. And I even had them yet. I can't let just any Tom, Dick, and Harry, no pun intended, just come up in here and pummel and do whatever he wants to do. I gotta think about her dwelling place. Or his dwelling place. I have to make sure the atmosphere, the pH balance, that everything stays the way it's supposed to be. I can't just let somebody just come run up in me just because I'm horny and I want to get a nut that's going to last maybe a couple minutes. Like, are you freaking? People are just so animalistic in thought. Like, could you please see the bigger picture here? Please. God is not taking sex from you. He's just telling you the right way to do it to protect everybody involved. Whew! Lord. I don't see how he deals with us. Anyway, what was I saying? I can't support anything. And as Christians, we already don't. But I'm just saying, because we're talking about the album, I got to keep going back there. I just can't support a message that's literally, if not tearing down and belittling and discouraging the idea of, they're kind of putting it on like the back burner of being a wife, desiring to be a husband, talking about love. Perfect example. There is a stupid clip, a stupid track on Jazmine Sullivan's Oh, it triggered me so bad. My fingers were just typing. It would trigger me so bad. There is a track on her album. It sounds like it was very short, like she was having a conversation, like round table discussion with other women, and they were wives. They were wives on the track. And what they were talking about was the different forms of treating. And there was one in particular loudmouth black woman who should be ashamed of her very soul on that track, who was like, yeah, I guess we all hoeing. I guess we all tricking in our own way. Because I know, when I go home to my husband, and I know I need to get my nails done. I need to get my feet did. Or I know I need to get these bills paid. Basically, she was like listing stuff like that a wife would actually need. I guess, that's tricking. We tricking. We tricking. We trick or treating. So, everybody hoeing their own way. Because I know, I guess they're like high-fiving the other wives. Like, how to do the... Just like, basically, without my animated theatrics, the lady was saying that she was defending the idea of a woman having to... It sounds like these feminists don't want to admit that it's still harlotry and prostitution, so they kind of find a way to twist it, like, well, no, because, you're not going to give a man your time. I'm not gonna let him date me. I'm not gonna let him take up my quality time when I got kids, He gonna have to give me something. Like, I'm not gonna give him this poo nanny, unless he can give me a Birkin bag. Basically, you have to give me something. Either give me material things to give me money for my time, for my sex, for my energy, all this other stuff. But what made it so bad was in that particular track, it was wives talking like that. And the woman sounded so stupid. Like, God bless her soul. She's under a carnal mind. I know that if the Holy Spirit in his precious dove form were to land upon her and give her enlightenment, she would not be talking like that. But in her current base state, this was a wife saying that they still trick in their marriages because they know that if they want their husbands to gift them with something, they got to give it up. And that's where I stopped. I didn't even listen to any more of Jazmine's song. Like, I couldn't, that was a short track. I could barely get through it. I said, is she really encouraging this? That's why she got in the album. She's for it. She's for this message. And that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire freaking 28 years of living. I said, a wife is talking like this? Why that doesn't make sense to me? Number one, hold on a second. Wait a minute. Are you telling me? Whew, my mind is racing. I have so many layers to go through. Let's talk about the marriage foundation. Number one, sexually. This is why I say educate yourself on what sex is spiritually. You just said that in order for you to get your daily needs, or in order for you to get things that you want, let's say it's not really essentials. Let's say it's not needs. Let's say it's just things that you want. That you know that you have to sexually please your husband and give that day to get it. So are you telling me that we have, and let me say this, I know because somebody gonna come for my throat because people have done it before, because they act like that you got to be married or you have to go through these experiences or you have to be sexually experienced yourself to have common freaking sense. Honey, I have the Holy Spirit. I got more sense than you probably ever had in your 40 years of life. Because you talking like that, you sound dumb as hell, okay? I don't have to be married to know that sounds stupid. Somebody's gonna say that, well, you ain't ever been married, so this is how a marriage really is, that when the honeymoon phase is over, and things just go to regular, that's some bull crap. And let me tell you why. Number one, you just admitted out of your mouth that your sexual engagements with your husband is no longer even about love or affection anymore. This is now a tool for you to get material things that you want. So this is no longer a sacred practice where whenever, I don't know, he comes home from work, or maybe we're just spending time together, however it happens, we're not even enjoying one another anymore. This is just me having to please you, even if I'm understanding as a wife that it's my duty, just so I can get my fair share of things that I want. And I ranted about this on Facebook. I said, if that is the condition of your marriage, if that's an understanding that you and that man have, you're not in a marriage, you're in a freaking contract, and that's it. Contractual agreement. That's not a marriage, because that's not love. Number two, my second thought was, okay, how do we get to this point? Because you either need to question the man that you married, or this is just stupid in general, because why do you feel like you have to do that? Number one, yes, scripture does say that when you are married, this is Corinthians, Father said this, okay? Yes, your body is no longer your own. The wife's body belongs to her husband, and vice versa. Understood. So I'm not saying that on some logical level that we have an understanding of our duties to our spouse, but that should still come from a place of love. So how do we get to a point where you felt like you just had to have sex with your husband just to get some stuff you wanted? My mind went to, if he loves you, why, if you even have to ask to begin with? I would like to think, like, if I was a man and I had my wife and I genuinely love her, you don't have to ask, honey, I'm showering you with gifts. Let me speak for myself as a woman. Even as the quality of wife I would be, I'm already somebody who's giving by default to a fault. I'm giving by default to a fault. I'm a huge giver. I'm a nurturer. I love to spoil my men personally, to be completely honest with you. I couldn't imagine my man, I couldn't imagine him saying like, oh yeah, I gotta go home and give Brandy this D, just so I can. That's stupid. That's something for us to enjoy as husband and wife, because we love each other, but you don't even have to ask me for anything. If I love you, I'm giving it to you. You see what I'm saying? So, she was being all loud in the track, like trying to sound deep, like she was making sense, when really you were just speaking empty nonsense, because my mind was like, if he loves you, why do you have to ask him for anything? Let's talk about that. Let me get on your remix, Jazmine, so I can make it look like the freaking cornball sounded, because that sounds really stupid. That lets me know that your sex life and your marriage, the condition and quality of your marriage itself, has plummeted in affection and intimacy, to the point where, just so you can get things that you want, which lets us know that you're not getting it naturally because he loves you. He probably lost love for you. So now your sexual intimacy in your marriage is just pleasure based. So I'm going to use this as a tool, since this is how we can both be satisfied and we can continue to keep this marriage going, because it's clearly not founded on any kind of love. That was the most insane crap I'd ever heard in my life. I was like, did she really just say that? You have to sleep with your husband just to get gifts? He don't love you. He does not love you. I don't know if she was trying to come from a place of saying, like, to make a man want to. They all talk like that. Oh, you got to get what you want, girl. To make him fall in love with you, make him get you all this stuff you got to put out. No, I don't. Yeah, people, this is another thing I don't like. People disrespect men. You really underestimate men. If a man is really interested in you, what you have to offer him is not going to be merely sexual. He's not going to look at you just like that. He'll probably see you as a friend. He'll see you as a really cool companion. He'll see you as somebody he can actually be vulnerable with. He can actually talk to. He'll see you in all the many different facets and dimensions that you actually contain. It's not just going to be sexual. So the fact that you think that you just have to overly sexualize yourself to get something from him, maybe he's not that interested in you. Because I would like to think even the most basest man, the most basest hood, street, like, didn't finish middle school guy, if he was really into a woman, she would not have to ask him for gifts. He probably would just do it to be nice. He would just get her, like, exactly, Kiki, it is manipulation and seduction. So as a wife, she just basically admitted that she's a manipulative, seducing wife. That's not love. But once again, this is a message that's being encouraged through her album, which is why I'm dragging it. So anyway, like I was saying, even the most basest man, I would like to think, what he could afford, he would get it for her. If he really liked the girl, just like how we used to do in school, he'd get her flowers, Or, find out what her favorite color is, and he probably like go to, even if it's Dollar Tree, like you'll find a way. Like you should not have to ask your husband. Oh, girl, get divorced. Just wait, wait. Oh my God. Have y'all ever been in such like an upside down paradigm, like the mind of Christ? And when you listen to certain stuff, you literally have to like go all the way. Like, wait, no, this doesn't make any sense. Like, you have to stop. Oh my God. Bless her heart. Like, she feels like she gotta give her husband some whenever just to get stuff. Like, that's really sad. I thought that's what happens before you get married. Not when you're actually in the marriage. And I was saying, like, it's a man's responsibility, and it should be his desire to bless you, to take care of you, to nurture you, to provide for you, and to treat you. This should not be something that we have to ask for. It's okay to ask. I always like to compare our marriage concepts to our marriage with Christ, because we get to see a picture of the bride of Christ and Yahusha in many different books, Esther being one of them. So we get to see that Esther as a queen, as the bride, as the wife, she would go to the king and she would request things, but she always had his favor. It was always yes. The promises of God are always yes and amen, right? So there's nothing wrong with asking your husband. He may not know that you want to go to this concert. He may not know that you want this particular gift or something. So yeah, you ask him because he loves you. Yeah, baby, you can have that. But you ain't got to give him no sex for it. I mean, it's going to happen. I would like to think of something like that just happens organically and naturally because you love each other, but not just because you're trying to get something. So I was just like, that's really weird. But like I said, if a man really loves you, depending on, because some men are like naturally givers too, and some they just love you. I know marriages where like they just, the woman's just at work and he sends her flowers and teddy bears to work. Just because that's his wife and he loves her and just, I don't know, he just wants you to feel special. There doesn't have to be a reason all the time. Sometimes people just want to bless you. Sometimes they just want to show love to you. So when I was listening to that, it, God, I feel like I need to do videos like this. Like, how you have to listen to something like very educational after listening to like a really stupid video to cleanse and purge yourself of the stupidity. I feel like I have to do videos like this to reintroduce and reinterject, the wisdom and the sound counsel that's opposing this type of message or this type of nonsense, because that was very stupid. I'm embarrassed for her that she even put that in a track, that she even put that in an album, unless she is trying to push a different message. So I'm like, okay, Jazmine, are you on the same bandwagon with Cardi and Megan the Stallion and the City Girls, and use a man and take him for everything he's worth, and we all trick in our own way? I'm like, how are you taking pride in this? It's not cute. Regardless of what background of woman you are, it's not cute, you guys. That's not a cute concept. Even if I was doing something like that, you would never hear about it. I would never actually tell somebody that I was just using a man to just get certain things I needed. Like, and y'all have gotten to a place where you're bragging about it. Like, oh, well, we all tricks in our own way, whether you're on the street prostituted or whether in your marriage. Like, no, that's two completely different things. Like, no. Tricking is tricking. If this is taking place, if this type of mentality is in your marriage, you need to go to marriage counseling, sweetheart. That's not normal. That's not love. That means that you have to give him something just so he can want to even give you something decent. So that means he doesn't want to do it naturally. That's a problem. At this point, instead of a Birkin bag, I think y'all need to be laying in bed and start to have a deep, meaningful, serious conversation on where you lie intimacy wise. How do you feel about me? Can you say that you're like still in love with me? Do you still have like a genuine love and a genuine affection for me? Because the fact that I even have to, I can't. Anyway, that's my video. This is already almost 2 hours long. I didn't even, I can only imagine how long this would be if I had actually listened to Jazmine's full album. I probably would have got even more triggered and more upset. But like I said, in respect, she is under a carnal mind. She's not a believer. This is their normal. We all are like this until the Holy Spirit comes into us and gives us some sense, to be honest with you. But just to talk about it from like a musical standpoint and just to review the album, that's my 2 cents on that. I do not like this message that is continuing to be propagated by all these different female rappers about this, because it's really annoying. It really, really is. And there's a couple other people who are in the secular realm and they do reviews and they say the same stuff that I say, and I'm like, yes. Yes, girl. Thank you. Because they're not going to listen to a Christian. They're going to listen to somebody else in the world who, oh, okay, well, we respect their opinions. We respect their views. Well, let a Christian say the same stuff. Oh, that's just religious. You know, you don't really know nothing about life, girl. You ain't really been out like that. You know, you really got you no good deed. It's always like, but I have common sense, though. I still have wisdom. I still have counsel. I don't have to go through a whole U-Haul truck of men to experience what you've experienced to come to this same conclusion. You're dumb as hell, and what you're saying doesn't make any sense. So with that being said, you know, whatever Jazmine is doing, whatever her intentions are, that's whatever. I just simply wanted to review her album and what I've kind of heard her talk about in the few songs I did listen to. It's trash. She is definitely, she's definitely cutting herself short as far as her musical ability and her gifts and her talents and her voice. She has a beautiful, soulful voice, and she's choosing to make this disgusting, stupid. Like I said, more than likely, she's probably just trying to cater to an audience to get back into the groove of things. That's most of them do. They make the same trash music so they can get back into the industry and kind of get popular again and get kind of. No, that's not the way to do it. I would stay true to myself as an artist and as a musician, and I would stay in my lane. I would stay being my true, genuine, soulful, vulnerable self, even if I never got famous. You will always have true fans. That's one thing I can tell you. Everything is not it's not about playing by the ear with people. It depends on what you want. Maybe you're just not true to your craft like that. Maybe you are the person who just wants fame. You just want fame and money and notoriety and stuff, but my kind of heart, if I was a musician and I wasn't popping like that, or I never got to go up the ladder like I saw everybody else, I would just still make my music, make my content, and the people that really rock with you and vibe with you, they gonna stay there because they can actually relate to you. You will always have fans that genuinely relate to your music and your experiences and your stories and the message that you put out, if it's positive, hopefully. It doesn't always have to be the trash that's circulating to get popular. So are your intentions to get popular, or to maintain, you know, your true identity? Because at some point you're going to lose yourself doing this, like every other artist does. I just, this is why I consent. Before I get off, this is why I consent and I don't have an issue with the Lord literally burning this place up, because it's just the world and just what humanity is doing. There's nothing new under the sun, but it just doesn't make any sense. Like, y'all are just so full of like futile, void vices and vanity. Like, you're useless instruments at this point. This is why he says, those who don't bear fruit, I'm going to cast into the fire. Look what you're talking about. And this is the perfect manifestation of calling good evil and evil good. This stupidity, this stupid logic makes so much sense to y'all that you're pushing it and you're bragging about it. You just told the whole world that there's no love in your marriage. And you didn't even catch that you kind of subconsciously admitted that. I have to give my husband some just so I can get these bills. Wait, what? You mean the bills that he's supposed to already be paying? Just to get gifts and things that you want. Whatever happened to, as a modest, humble queen that a man would be proud to have on his arm, just making a simple request. It's just, why are you taking prostitute hoe mentality into your marriage? Why are you taking hoe prostitute mentality into your marriage? I question how long you've had this whole prostitute mentality in your marriage. Did you come into the marriage with this mentality, or did this develop over time because of lack of affection and intimacy? So instead of pruning your marriage, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to say anymore. I can go on for hours. Like, I don't need to say anymore. With that being said, the album, in my unprofessional opinion, just from a listener's ear, it's garbage, both musically, production wise. It even had like a Dollar Tree soul type sound. Like, you know how some soul music is like really soul, like you can vibe, like Erykah Badu type of stuff. Her music sounded like whoever put it together, it was a cheap version of soul. Like, it wasn't something I could actually like listen to and just kind of bump. It was just kind of like, that was awkward, you know. And then you put her on that particular track, which was, when I hear like the actual like melody and the sound, I'm like, something else should have been put on this, not what she was saying and what she was doing and how stupid it sounded. Like, it was just bad. Overall bad. The message is bad. The songs are bad. The album is bad. The name of the album is super bad. Hotels. Come on. Like, can we not talk about how we used to be whores? This is not a pleasurable, like, discussion. Like, that's not something to be proud about. Like, I wouldn't tell anybody. Like, but like I said, hey, you know, if she gets upset by this video, if she ever watches it, or whoever from her team watches it, whatever, everything I said in here is facts. Everything I said in here is absolutely true. And hopefully there's somebody, a part of my tribe, somewhere on the earth, who agrees with everything that I said, because it actually is very much true what I said. But when you're going up against a whole bunch of fans and a whole bunch of people who don't have they're just mindless idiots. They don't have their own mind. They don't have their own opinion. No true sense of like taste or musical style or anything like that. They just want to chase you, follow you, you know, applaud anything that you're doing. Whatever. I don't really care for that. But, you know, like I said, everybody has their own vibration, and you're always going to have your tribe. You know, every lion's going to have their lion tribe, and every insect and cockroach and rodent's going to have their tribe too. So, you know, you're always going to have an audience wherever you go. So if that's what she wants to do, that's the path she wants to follow. She is definitely guaranteed a majority and a large mass of idiots to applaud what she's promoting through that album. And if she ever decides to make quality jazz music or, you know, soulful music again, she'll always have an audience there too. So that's my opinions on that. Did I leave anything out? I don't think I did. Moral of the story, be true to yourself, love yourself, accept yourself and all of your flaws, all of your gifts, all of your abilities. Use what the Most High put in you to bless other people, even if it's making a 2-hour long opinionated video. People can actually probably agree and, you know, vibe with that. You never know. So, and the right people on your frequency will attract to you. Okay? You don't have to conform. You don't have to compromise. You don't have to be like everybody else and like what everybody else likes, because more than likely they don't even know who they are. They're just following everybody else. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, if I was like in a crowd of followers and I asked one of them, like, hey, where are we going? Like, I don't know. I'm just following. It's like, oh, okay. So everybody's just lost. Like, nobody knows where they're going. There's no light, okay? So I had to put a little on. I had to spice a little light on here, like, really quick. Like, no, Jazz, we're not doing all of that. We're not doing that, okay? We're not doing that. And y'all can feel how y'all feel about it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And like I said, everybody has their vibration. And hopefully we just all get to the point where we're on the Holy Spirit's vibration, because man, this carnality is killing people out here. Like, they're just, you know, it's just a completely, like, difference. Like, when you get the Holy Spirit, you have the mind of Christ, and you listen to, like, carnality again, it's like, I have to, like, readjust. Like, I forgot how to, like, I used to like this stuff. I don't know how to like it anymore. That's a good thing, because I'm not in the flesh. So it's like, I have to try really hard to try to get into your mind and how it could possibly be weaved together to where you actually thought this made sense and it was pleasant enough to give to the masses. This is terrible. It's terrible. Pray for them, okay? Y'all have a good day. Goodbye.